Hello and welcome to another video tutorial on understanding body language, liars, cheats and happy feet. So tonight I'm going to play for you a new Michael Jackson video I've found. The last Michael Jackson body language analysis I did was with the Martin Bashir when he was involved in Michael Jackson's life for a couple of months. So that was broadcast in February 2003, and this is taken on Christmas Day, 2003. So a few months has passed since Michael Jackson spent some time with Martin Bashir and that interview took place. So let's start this video. Bear in mind this is the 60-minute video done that Michael did a few years ago. So let's start at the beginning and let's see if anything's changed since when he did his interview about a year previous. So
just because it's in print doesn't mean it's the gospel. People write negative things because they feel that's what sells. Good news to them doesn't sell.
So nothing much to read there. Obviously, I've been studying Michael Jackson for a while. I've got a good idea of his baselines now, what he does when he's showing honesty, potential deception and guilt, shame, things like that. So there was nothing much there to read. So let's move on to the next question, which was about the police treating him very, very badly. So use of bad verbs there.
One time I asked to use the restroom, and they said, sure, it's right around the corner there.
There you go. That's an example of a gestural emblem. Is when we point in the direction of something. So even if Michael Jackson wasn't talking then, we'd understand what that meant by pointing in a direction. So.
And they said, sure, it's right around the corner there. Once I went in the restroom, they locked me in there for like 45 minutes. There was doo-doo, feces thrown all over the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and it stunk so bad. Then one of the policemen came by.
Let's just rewind that. So what we've got there is use of illustrators, which we use our hands to articulate the actual meaning. So let's watch this again. So look how Michael uses the example of putting something on a wall by using these kind of gestures here. So let's have a look at this again.
In there for like 45 minutes. There was doo-doo, feces thrown all over the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and it stunk so
But he
bad.
ends with a pacifying gesture, which is a head scratch. Note that there. So I think that what he's telling now, there's potentially more to it. So he might be withholding information here. I don't think he's falsifying what's happened here, because his illustrators suggest otherwise. However, with the pacifying gesture he makes to his right temple, potentially means he's concealing some kind of information.
The floor, the ceiling, and it stunk so bad. Then one of the policemen came by the window and he made a sarcastic remark. He said, does it smell good enough for you in there? How do you like the smell? Is it good? And I just simply said, it's all right. It's okay. So I just sat there and waited. For 45 minutes? Yeah, for 45 minutes, about 45 minutes. And then one...
So we had a repeated chain of words there, 45 minutes, 45 minutes. If we scoot back to everything here, he's not articulating with his hands anymore, but one dead giveaway of honesty is no speech errors whatsoever. If you were to regale a story that's actually happened, you shouldn't have any speech errors. And what's Michael's doing now?
Does it smell good enough for you in there? How do you like the smell? Is it good? And I just simply said, it's all right. It's okay. So I just sat there and waited. For 45 minutes? Yeah, for 45 minutes, about 45 minutes. And then one...
Notice how the shame gesture comes in there. Now, I know there's not a lot of micro-expression work done on shame, but for me, this looks shame.
45 minutes, about 45 minutes.
What does that look like to you? Shame. So he's deeply ashamed about what's happened to him, and you can see with the eyelids coming down, the head down, and the eyes also coming down as well. So we're seeing tremendous shame there from Michael Jackson, which comes from the story, which also comes from honesty.
And then one cop would come by and say, oh, you'll be out in a second. You'll be out in a second. Then there would be another 10 minutes added on, then another 15 minutes added on. They did this on purpose.
And I'm going to quote here, why can't you share your bed? The most loving thing to do is to share your bed with someone.
Yes.
As we sit here today, do you still think that it's acceptable to share your bed with children?
Of course. Of course, why not? If you're going to be a pedophile, if you're going to be Jack the Ripper, if you're going to be a murderer, it's not a good idea. That I'm not.
Let's just rewind that slightly. Now, Michael Jackson was asked this question by Martin Bashir a few months prior to this interview, and Michael's responses are exactly the same as when he gave with Martin Bashir. And do you know what happens when we do that? It's because it comes with honesty. So Michael Jackson here is showing the hallmarks of honesty. And also, did you know when we're being honest about something, we don't use strong statements such as paedophile, such as murderer, things like that. We distance ourselves away from things we actually are, but we're quite comfortable talking about them if we are not. So let's watch that again.
That it's acceptable to share your bed with children?
Of course. Of course, why not? If you're going to be a pedophile,
Strong statement.
if you're going to be Jack the Ripper,
Strong.
if you're going to be a murderer,
Strong.
it's not a good idea. That I'm not.
That's fine.
That's how we were raised. And I didn't sleep in the bed with the child. Even if I did, it's okay. I slept on the floor. I gave the bed to the child.
So Michael uses the same terminology he's used before. However, again, do we notice the end there? Pacifying gesture, which he touches the same area of his head again. So a pacifying gesture.
I gave the bed to the child.
There you go. Let's just scoot back. So we just pause that one.
Floor. I gave the bed to the child.
There we go. So we're making a pacifying gesture towards the eye. Again, I don't think that's with falsifying information. Again, there might be more to that, which has been well documented. So I think there might be more to that, but I don't think there's nothing sexual in his eyes or in his voice to make those associations. So I think, obviously, Michael's withholding slight information there, obviously. So let's move on.
I would never stop helping and loving people the way Jesus said to. He said, continue to love, always love, bring on the children, imitate the children, not childish, but childlike.
Fine, that's fine.
Well, what's wrong with sharing your bed? I didn't say I slept in the bed. Even if I did sleep in the bed, it's okay. I am not going to do anything sexual to a child. It's not where my heart is. I would slit my wrist first. I would never do anything like that. That's not Michael Jackson. I'm sorry.
Let's just rewind that one. This is important. So what's wrong with sharing your bed? So let's see what Michael says here.
Well, what's wrong with sharing your bed? I didn't say I slept in the bed. Even if I did sleep in the bed.
There you go. So we're using the same gesture as he used with Martin Bashir, which is the finger point, which shows a hallmark of honesty when he's getting away from it. So leave me alone.
I said I slept in the bed. Even if I did sleep in the bed, it's okay. I am not going to do anything sexual to a child. It's not where my heart is. I would slit my wrist first.
So he's using illustrators again there to show what he would do to his wrists. So again, that is honest. That's real emotion coming via his limbic responses. So he's using the gestural emblem of a wrist slice, obviously, so he's indicating potential suicide. So again, he's not afraid to use these harsh terminologies, Michael, which again, if you do your studies on nonverbal communication and criminology, is a good sign of honest, truthful behavior.
I am not going to do anything sexual to a child. It's not where my heart is. I would slit my wrist first. I would never do anything like that. That's not Michael Jackson. I'm sorry.
And that is an example of a steepling gesture, which Michael is using just there, which just comes in. That, when we place our hands together and point them up so it makes it look like a church, is called a steepling gesture, and we use that when we're confident about what we're delivering. So Michael Jackson is there, he's using a steepling gesture, which again you wouldn't do if you're being deceptive or falsifying information or lying. You wouldn't steeple.
Not Michael Jackson, I'm sorry. That's someone else.
How has it impacted you?
My
touring, record
album's
sales?
#1 all over the world. All over the world. America's the only one because I don't want to say too much.
But it's not #1 in the United
If we
States.
flash the micro expression there from Michael.
Well, America's the only one because I don't want to say too much.
But it's
Massive sadness. Look at those eyes and head down.
Well, America's the only one because I don't want to say too much.
But
there you go. Look at that for sadness. He's deeply upset about it. And
it's not
so.
#1 in the United States.
It's conspiracy, yeah. I don't want to say too much. I'm done.
Now there's a gestural emblem of the same one. What does that mean? That is almost very universal. Hand up. Stop. I'm done. Stop talking about it. So, to the fans.
Michael, what would you say to your fans who have supported you through all of this, and who today, some of them might have questions. What would you say to them?
Well, I would tell them I love them very much, and they've learned about me and know about me from a distance. But if you really want to know about me, there's a song I wrote, which is the most honest song I've ever written. It's the most autobiographical song I've ever written.
Which is good.
It's called
All in the right
Childhood.
place. Yeah, so personally I've never heard this song before, so I'll try and send you people a link.
That's the one they really should listen to. And thank you for your support, the fans around the world. I love you with all my heart.
Now that is an example of how sometimes body language can get mixed up in different contexts. If you look at Michael Jackson's head shake, see he's showing no.
Support the fans around the world. I love you with all my heart.
So Michael Jackson is showing no. So if we mute this and then we scoot back, and if you didn't hear what Michael Jackson was saying, you wouldn't have associated that head shake here with him being grateful for everyone's help. So that's an example of how we sometimes get body language so wrong. And that's why it's so important to establish people's baselines before we make judgment on evaluating truthfulness and detecting deception. So we're nearly finished.
I don't take any of it for granted. Any of it. And I love them dearly. All over the world.
So there we go. Head shakes in the right place there. And there we go. So that's the end of the vid. Thank you to that guy who put that video on. So that's my video analysis of Michael Jackson complete. Now then, before I end this video, I've got to say that I am tremendously impartial when it comes to body language videos. I am a big fan of Michael Jackson. I was a big fan of his music. But if he was showing the hallmarks of deception, I would have called this down the middle. I don't show favoritism to anybody. So please bear that in mind. I call things as I see them throughout my years of training, so I don't take preference to my own personal likes or Kat's personal likes. I see things down the middle. And I've got to say again that Michael Jackson here is showing the hallmarks of honesty. Even a year after, his stories and statements are identical, and that comes with honesty. Again, when we falsify information, it's very difficult to remember what information we've just said. Michael does make pacifying gestures on the head, but I think that's more concealed information than falsified information. So all you Michael Jackson fans out there, you'd be glad to know of all the Michael Jackson analysis videos I've done, I can see repeated hallmarks of honesty, and he's completely innocent in my eyes. So with that in mind, I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure you check out my other body language videos on understanding body language, liars, cheats and happy feet. I've got a Facebook page if you'd like to join as well. It's for charity, so if you can join that on Facebook, send me a message and I'll send you the link. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon. So from everyone here, bye bye and bye for now.